It's more powerful, in fact. I mean, I think, certainly if you see free solo, I mean, I think it's pretty gripping, and because it's subtly, because it's tastefully done. I think that the most realistic scene in any Hollywood movie is Clint Eastwood climbing a desert tower in the Eiger Sanction. And actually, in general, all the climbing in the Eiger Sanction is very realistic. Like, I could talk about climbing all day. Like, sorry guys. Hi everyone, I'm Alex Arnold, and this is The Breakdown. Let's start with Mission Impossible 2. This is actually my favorite. I love this scene. I actually filmed in this exact location once upon a time. I shot a commercial right here, and when we rappelled in, we found plastic holds bolted to the wall. And the only explanation was that it's where they shot Mission Impossible. I was like, oh, classic. Red sandstone towers are all southern Utah or maybe northern Arizona. That's the white rim below him. It's the confluence of the Green River and the Colorado River. But I mean, I think they're cutting between a bunch of different places and a bunch of different spires. The double knee bar is a legitimate rest. I mean, that's like a legit way to rest rock climbing. I definitely listen to music when I climb sometimes. I mean, if you have some cool soundtrack behind you while you're ascending, I mean, how cool is that? This is completely outrageous, but kind of amazing. I mean, especially looking down, you're like, oh, there are plenty of holes above him, but no, he decides to jump 15 feet sideways to a different shelf. There is a history of tower jumping, sort of, in climbing, but it's typically if you summit a spire and then you have to get off of it. But you would never just randomly jump from the middle of one wall to the middle of another wall for no real reason. That's all kind of legit. The whole sliding down, just like, oh gosh, and then catching the lip of something is actually somewhat realistic. I mean, that's probably not even his hand,
So you guys cut up your hands like that?
Yeah, if he was that cut up from having because I mean, there's no way that Tom Cruise ripped those big of chunks out of his fingers. I pride myself in good technique. I do not have scars on my hands, but I mean, I just came from the climbing gym actually, so I'm still chalky. I mean, hanging by one hand on the lip of a sandstone thing, extremely unrealistic, but so rad. I mean, the reverse iron cross, so rad. And then notice that they just cut to epic sunset light, and then, oh, now they're back to normal light. But he looks so good at the sunset. I mean, nobody solos like that on sandstone because it breaks. I did this expedition in Chad in Africa once upon a time, climbing sandstone towers similar to this, but worse rock. Basically, I was free soloing this tower that had never been climbed before, and both my footholds broke off at the same time, like big plates of sandstone just like sheared away from the wall. And so I was left just hanging there by my hands, like, oh my goodness, total Mission Impossible craziness style. So sick. And this is actually pretty legit climbing, like that's pretty decent movement. He's got okay. I mean, I think the reason I love this scene so much, rock, he's doing like turned up to he at him, and it's going to self-destruct. Through a lot of it, because it's like sure all my friends that were with the crew. Okay, well, so the basically what you would do to get over some little sudden different. He is arced in his foot. It's basically counter pressure between his hands pulling one way and his foot facing the other way. It's actually a great way to pose because it opens your body up to the camera. This is, no, this is all legit technique. I mean, he's climbing up in a rut. Looks good. So this is a different type of rock, and this is quartzite. Super featured, supposed to be super cool. I have a lot of friends that have climbed on this wall in Venezuela. The thing is, it's cutting so quickly back and forth between random things that you don't really get a good sense of what they're actually climbing. It's all realistic, except that he's free soloing a waterfall, which is not realistic. Oh, that's some extreme double dynoing right there. That was sick. Well, a dyno is when you jump, and then a double dyno is when you jump with both hands. Oh, so he just